Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Flashy Gordy here for your crypto pleasure, and I am here today with Rasmus from Aryze, Rasmus Bruun, who is the what's your position on Aryze?
Communication Manager.
Communications Manager, and a very beautiful one, as you can see. So today I thought we'd just try to do something new that I will try to do every Friday, and that is talk a little bit with the projects that I find interesting and hear what they are doing recently. And I know Rasmus is now with Aryze in Malta. And Aryze is, let's just hear a short introduction of Aryze. You're doing a special kind of stablecoin.
That is correct. We are doing basically we're building the bridge between crypto and fiat currencies. And what is special about Aryze is you can obviously go and read about us on our webpage. But what essentially what people need to know about Aryze is that we can save businesses up to 70 or even 80% on their cash management. And what we can give the people right now is that we can give them free transactions. So here in Denmark, for example, we can have truly free transactions. So just like I can give you 100 kroner on a bill, you would be able to transfer that because today what we see is there are too many intermediaries, it takes too much time, and it's too costly. And we all know that with intermediaries, there is, everyone has to get paid. They're not doing it for fun. So they will take their cut, it will make the transaction slower, and in the end, who's paying for it? You are. So we want to get rid of that by using blockchain technology. And instead of moving the money around, which is so expensive, and that's what being done today, we will simply move the ownership around. So when you give us, when you buy into Aryze, for example, let's say you give Aryze 100 kroner, and then we create 100 electronic kroner. And then simply what to do is that you move around the ownership of those 100 kroner, and the money doesn't move. We put it in the national bank, it stays there, it's backed up, and then it's simply the ownership. And that also means that you can now send money, you know, all over the world. In Denmark, we have mobile pay, which is absolutely fantastic. But unfortunately, this is built in what we call like a silo structure. So mobile pay is fine, but it only works in our little silo here in Denmark. It doesn't work in Tanzania and can't speak with all the other systems. So what we eventually want to create is a payment system and a global mobile pay where you can simply transfer money worldwide instantly.
So a global payment system, and you also want to make all the transactions in between the different currencies, as I understand it. So it makes it very easy for people to use, no matter which kind of cryptocurrency or normal currency they are using, actually.
See, now obviously I'm talking to Flashy Gordy, the crypto king, and yeah, I recognize that. And first of all, I just want to say thank you very much. You've been following our project since day one, so we really appreciate you and appreciate that. And yes, it's true. Talking to crypto people, it will very much be a service where yes, you will be able to, if you want to, you can pay with your cryptocurrencies where it's simply you choose whatever value you want to use, and then it's being transferred into the value that the shop or whatever you need to transfer value to what they want. So yes, you could go down to Netto and pay with Bitcoin if you wanted to, but the reason why we're doing a stablecoin is that we see in the crypto space we see every day we see new amazing technology and we see all these opportunities, but it's not really being used because with the pricing of Bitcoin, you're not really gonna go down and buy milk. Our CEO Jack Nicholson, he was called Bitcoin Jack because he lived off Bitcoin for a month in 2015, and he bought a right to work for 0.04 Bitcoin, and it's a bit expensive today, and he got a tattoo and all that. So people are not really using crypto to pay with, even though the technology is there and it's amazing. So that's why we're creating the stablecoin, where we're simply creating, an e-kroner or e-dollar, or so we're creating kroner and pounds and euro, and by 2021 we want to be in 21 different currencies, and eventually our goal is that you can use Aryze all over the world in all currencies.
So there you have it. Aryze are doing a lot, and they're looking to do a lot in the future. And I really like the basics of this project. They have some really good ideas and an interesting take on stablecoins, which is a hot topic in the crypto world right now. But let's get to it, Rasmus. This is Friday, and we want to hear what's happening with Aryze. What have you been doing the last week, the last month, and what are you doing right now? What are the recent developments?
Yes, I will give it to you, my friend. So right now we're in Malta, as you mentioned, for the Malta Blockchain Summit, and I would say for the past few months, basically since I mean, let's be honest here, the crypto market is a bit difficult. It's been tough times for all the people out there. So and it's also been kind of tough for Rise because obviously when we started this project, it was August 2017. And once we kind of, molded our idea, then it was October, November, and everyone was talking about Bitcoin. The price was going one way. Will it hit 100,000? It was that was the talk back then. But since New Year, it took a turn for the worse, and it's been a bloody market. So for Rise, without funding, we started. We're just now. I can tell you, kind of exclusively. We are very, very, very close. I don't want to jinx it, but we are very close to reaching our target with the first funding.
So
So
you've secured a lot of funding. I know you've also done a lot of work in this respect, you personally, and now you've secured your goal for the first funding round.
almost,
Almost, yeah,
we're very close.
yeah.
So that means that now, actually, right now, we're looking for a front end developer. Now, Aryze, we have gotten some critique from our white paper that okay, it's a good idea, but where's the technical stuff?
Mm.
How are you going to do it? And our ambition has been to, well, first we want to build up a name, project, get the idea right, build up the team, get all of that going, and beginning to talk to people before we start with the technical stuff, because as we both know, the space is moving so fast. So if we had started just coding back in August 2017, we probably wouldn't use it today. But now we have a technical architect, blockchain architect, Thomas Wiesbeck, very talented. He is doing some great work for us.
And he's a guy that you recently hired.
Yes.
Yeah. How long ago?
Amazing guy. I would say about a month and a half or so. He's been involved.
Okay.
He came to our office in the beginning and had some talks, and he's been working for us for around a month and a half. Really, really clever guy.
Mm.
And yes, right now we're actually looking to hire a front-end developer. So if any of you out there are front-end developers or know someone, feel free to reach out and follow Aryze on all social media channels. Sorry about that. So yeah, and as we secure our funding, then we can also begin to hire coders.
Yeah.
And begin building our product. And unfortunately, I can't disclose too much information, but we have some amazing talks with some very, very interesting tech companies. There's a lot of guys out there that like us and our project, and we're really happy about that. And I think maybe it's because our brand is honesty and transparency, and we want to be fair. The model that we have done for our funding, we believe, is very fair also in terms of what we see in the market.
Mm.
Our CFO, Morten Nielsen, years of background in JP Morgan, UBS. He comes from a very strict banking background, and that's a really, really, really good thing for us as well, because we're doing everything by the book, and we're fair and we're open. People can reach us on Telegram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. They're always welcome to reach out to us. We respond. We're open. We try to share, where we're going, what we're doing. We're always accessible, and this kind of helps us because it's very easy. Because if you're not a douchebag, then people are not really douchebags to you. If you're just being like nice and honest, then life is really easy. And I'm not like, it's great when you go to work. It's like, okay, what do I do? Today I have to push this shitcoin. I have to, cheat some people and lie a little bit because, that's what I get paid for. But it's not like that. It's like we're coming in, we're doing this really cool project. We were invited to. I will get back to what we've done for the
It's
few last
fine.
months
It's fine. Keep going.
because we got invited to the United Nations in New York for the Sustainable Development Goal Conference,
That's great.
and that's just because it's like, okay, what you're doing can help a lot of people. Because earlier I mentioned that in terms of cash management, we can save companies up to 70 or 80%.
Mm.
We have done some cases with some very, very large companies in Denmark and abroad.
Mm.
And they're very interested in our solutions because obviously they can save 70 to 80%. It's easier and it's great. And another factor is the remittance payment market.
Yeah.
Like today, transferring money, we all know it. Like even transferring money from Denmark to Sweden, like through a bank transfer,
Yeah.
it takes days. It's very costly. On average, you pay 7.1% when you transfer money. 7.1% of your money you give away just because you want to send it. We see cases in Africa where they take if they want to send money from South Africa to Zimbabwe, they get their money, they give it to some random guy, he takes the bus, and they just hope, okay, please, bring it there. And it's so costly.
Yeah.
And coming back to the United Nations, they have some sustainable development goals. I think they have around 17. One of those targets is that by 2030, they want to bring down the average fee when you pay remittance fees. They want to bring it down to 4%.
And that's why they invite Aryze.
And we can bring it down to 1 to 2% already in 2022.
That's something.
So that is really something. And like, I don't know, maybe your viewers are crypto, maybe they don't really care, like save the world. But for poor people, they're being exploited.
Yeah.
Often you see people going somewhere to get a better life, not for them, but for the family, for the next ones to come. Mm. And what do when they send back, when they send money back to their home country? They get robbed. And here we can help them a lot, and we can make it a lot easier. And it's also odd because you and I, we travel a lot, and like when I go, for example, to Holland is a pretty developed country, but still you can't pay by card in taxi. You can't use the Visa card in the big supermarkets. It's just like, why do you make it so hard? Why isn't easy? Even here in Malta, at the blockchain summit, buying like a water is still, no, we don't accept card. It's, do you have cash? So, it's still a bit difficult. And
it's too difficult.
Yeah.
It's too difficult still. It's still too difficult, and the current economic system is just too complicated, too difficult. There's too many middlemen, too many banks in between all transfers and all this kind of stuff, and it just doesn't make sense. Actually, I think we can all agree on that. And that is what you are providing your solution for. And I love that you're so passionate talking about it, Rasmus. But I will just get you a little bit back on track because we were talking about the current developments. Just to sum up what you said, Aryze have come with their idea, and you have been securing your funding, and now you're looking into doing more actual development of how your platform is going to be. So you've been hired. You hired your first blockchain architect, and you're looking to hire more people now and develop the actual platform further. And in that respects, now you are in Malta. What's that like, and why are you there?
We were so lucky. It was all the way back in March or April or something. We get approached by a lot of people like, do you want to come here? Mm. And pretty, often it's like you have to sponsor this, or you have to pay this. People in the crypto scene, and for me coming in with like kind of like a journalist communication background, it's a bit shocking to see. Okay, you want an article, pay for it. So you. Yeah. And in the beginning, I was like, okay, how come this kind of, no disrespect, this shitty product are invited to all these places, and why do they get to speak there? I don't get it, Jack. Our CEO, he's much more funny and interesting. I don't get it. But money talks. Yeah. And everyone has to make a living here. But we get invited to a lot of things, and then we talked to these guys from Malta Blockchain Summit. Never really heard of the conference before. It's kind of a new thing.
Yeah, I think it's the first year this year. Yeah.
And then we got invited. We talked to them and we're like, yeah, can we please, can you pay for our flight and stuff like that? And then we were so lucky to be invited as a judge. So Jack Nicogosian, our CEO, he functioned as a judge for the Malta Blockchain Awards here on Wednesday night. So on the Wednesday there was Blockchain Awards show, and then Thursday and Friday today there's been a summit with an exhibition and talks and all that. So Jack, he served as a judge there. So yeah, we came down, and this is a big hotel. You were here yourself for Delta.
Yeah.
There was 8,500 people yesterday.
Shit, that's crazy.
And the hotel is made for 5,000 people max.
Yeah.
So that means you queue for pretty much everything. Getting an elevator at any time is like a nightmare. There's people everywhere. We couldn't get into. I haven't seen any talks because you can't get it. You have to get there really early in the morning and just stay there. 9 o'clock in the morning, it's already full. Yesterday, 10 o'clock, it was completely impossible. The exhibition hall is completely crammed. There are like exhibitors everywhere you go. But it's also good because there's so many people. You know, you can just, and it's all crypto, blockchain. So it's very interesting. So we meet a lot of cool people. We talk to a lot of people. So yeah, it's really good. And to just quickly sum up what we've been doing the last few months.
And I saw something with you you bumped into John McAfee also.
Yes. Yeah. Personally, I had the honor of or honor, I don't know, but I was in an elevator and it was maybe 8 or 10 people, and we got stuck in there. And yeah, John McAfee was there. So he's a funny character.
Yeah.
He walks around like with his sunglasses, and he's acting like he's a president. He's just walking around and greeting people, and he doesn't ask them anything. He just says hi and have his picture taken. But it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And also Sophia the robot is here. So a few celebs. The Prime Minister was here yesterday, and today there was like a tax minister, and also there was some royalty from one of the Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
And the president was here as well, and Jack Nicholson from Aryze. So
Jack Nicholson from Aryze,
VIP,
not to say the least, very VIP. And but Jack, he's got a big name. He's getting invited to the UN with Aryze, and now he's at the board down there deciding about who's gonna win and so on. He's got a good name internationally, I can hear. That's really nice to hear. But just to get back to it, you are in Malta now, and what are you looking to do there? Are you there to secure more funds? Are you there just spreading the word about Aryze? What's your game plan?
On Monday, I was at this investor thing, Nordic Startup Awards, out at the big Danish law firm.
Yeah.
Huge building.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Just to find the entrance, it's so big. So there we were talking about, okay, how do you pitch yourself and what are you looking for? And we were talking to all these investors. And one of the things that they said was that, you know, it's like, look for money when you don't need it, you know?
Oh, okay.
So that's one of the things. So yeah, obviously as a company, you know, you're always looking for the next partnership or the next investment round. But yeah, as we stated, you know, we are looking for funding right now. We're very close to closing our first funding. So obviously, yes, I can't go into too much details, unfortunately, due to the Danish FSA, and the regulations that we of course follow, and we have a great relationship with them, and we're very happy to follow the rules. So yeah, unfortunately, I can't say too much, but yes, we are looking for if people are looking to back Aryze. Yes, we're always willing to have a talk. They can come by our office or we can chat. Yeah. So yes, a large part of that have been doing that. And also these last couple of months have learned, like in the beginning, it was very much, okay, we want to talk to all these companies. And there's a lot of interest from companies, perhaps even too much, because right now, you know, we need to focus on our product, because before we have a product, we can't really begin to onboard all these amazing companies. But it's great to know that the interest there. We're talking about the biggest companies in Denmark. We're talking about the biggest companies in England, in Germany. We're talking some really big worldwide companies that are actively looking to work with Aryze. But obviously, we know that before we have a product that works, you know, it won't be there. So
yeah.
So right now it's all about securing the funding. So
Yeah.
we have runway for the next 6 months. Then unfortunately I cannot tell you too much about that either. But it's no secret that we will need more funding at a later stage, and we're working on how should we approach this? Because and that's also one of the topics here in Malta actually is the ICO debt, because if the crypto market is going like this, and are we going back to old money? Will it be STOs? How will it be this? That's one of the big topics down here. Like, how are we going to do it? Because so many companies are in the position where it's kind of like, yeah, we had everything worked out. It's ready. We love the idea of an ICO, but the market is simply not there. So now, is it just time to give up and go back to just give away equity and traditional funding? So that's very much where's the future?
Yeah, that's an interesting point, and of course, last year everybody was and their grandmother was making a lot of money doing ICOs, no matter what they were doing, and that was a bit crazy. I still think ICOs have a role as something in between Kickstarter and normal applying for funding through business angels and VCs and so on, because when you do that, often you have to give away a lot of power and a lot of ownership of your company. So I think ICOs have a role in between those two, but of course there has to be some development towards if tokens should be more like equities or whatever, because you've also seen too much people just pay and actually they don't get anything for the token that they bought. So, but
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a lot of pump and dump and scam, and some critiques down here also saying the level of bullshit down here is also. But I mean, you can't really. It's crypto and blockchain only, and
Yeah, of course it is, but
5,000 people. There will be a lot
yeah,
of projects that maybe wouldn't work.
yeah, but I think it's better now than it was like last year. People are more critical, and people know that they have to do better, and
Video research, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think it's better. But I know also Aryze has an interesting token model. Like you have some interesting tokenomics, and from if people invest or buy the Aryze token, it's not just like you buy a token that's going to be used on the network. It's also that you're getting some revenue sharing from the platform or something like this. Is this correct?
I can't really. I would love to talk more about it, obviously, but I can't really talk about that too openly.
Okay, that's
But
fine.
people are always ready. If they have any questions, they can always reach out to us, and then we can reply. But in
Yeah,
terms of talking about that, I'm just like what I can say is that we are very 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 close to secure our funding,
yeah,
and of course, if people out there want to support the us and want to hear more, they're very welcome to get in touch. But that's where we are right now.
yeah,
And then we can kind of move on to the next project, because really quickly, last few months,
yeah,
yes, we've had so many events. Jack has been in Germany, and we had Carl Jenster, our co-founder. He's been in Germany for the German Blockchain Week. Morten Nielsen, our CFO, is going to the Singapore FinTech Festival.
yeah,
We're talking with the Danish Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China to go to China on a blockchain trip.
yeah,
There's a lot of travel, and we go a lot of places. And Aryze, we've been really nice. If people ask us, we say yes. So we
yeah,
go and pitch at the Copenhagen FinTech Lab. We have events with. We're going to Oslo to talk at KPMG here on the 15th of November. We're going to talk at Nordic Blockchain Conference. Shout out to Niklas and Irina and the team from Nordic Blockchain Association.
yeah, they're good guys.
It's very nice.
Yeah,
Just let me spend 2 seconds on that.
yeah,
I think it's amazing that we have a blockchain conference in Denmark here at Aryze. As soon as I heard about it, I wrote the guys and said, that's incredible. Let us know how we can help and promote it on our channels to really support that as someone is doing a blockchain conference. I think that's amazing. We're also so lucky to speak there, both Jack and Morten. Yeah, so a lot of traveling, a lot of speeches, and right now it's about finding a combination where now that we are getting closer to being a funded company, then perhaps even though it breaks our heart, we also have to say no sometimes. So we have to look into, do you want to come here and speak? And we have to look into, well, maybe we will have to ask for payment simply because otherwise it will be time taken away from our product. And because our strategy from the beginning has been, just giving and giving and giving, and then maybe you can get something back. So it's a fine line, but we still want to be honest and transparent, and we're always ready to reach out to us. And if it's some of our friends, or it's for a benefit, or if it's free of charge, we're always happy to engage and maybe come out and speak. And you also really kudos to you for coming for our crypto night. You and Jimmy from Stakem also, thanks to him. We're gonna do part 2.
That sounds good to me.
We can have some drinks. I know you're drinking. Is it a gin and tonic you're having there?
Yeah, I'm having a little Friday gin and tonic here. The Friday's almost over, and I'm getting ready for that. What do you have?
I have a little vodka Red Bull. To be honest,
sounds good.
We came here on Wednesday. Now it's Friday. It's some long nights and up early and meetings, and then.
I know, and that's how it is also at the summits. It's a lot of meetings during the day. The whole day is packed, and then at night you need to stress off a bit, so you go out and network a little bit and have some drinks, and sometimes
that's where you do the real business,
That is where you do the real business, exactly, and that's why you have to stay out until a little bit late, so you can finish that real business at nights. So it's very hectic at conferences, that's for sure, and it's good to have a little drink now and then. And just for everybody watching, sometimes when we're talking about economics here with Rasmus. We are a little bit careful, and that's not because Aryze won't talk about it, or they don't have a serious economic plan, because they do, and I've heard a lot about it. But when you look at Danish regulation, there's some complications about what you can talk about when you have a white paper out, who you can invite to make the funding, and blah blah blah. And that's why Rasmus and I'm also trying to be a little bit careful. We have to be a little bit careful talking about this economic stuff, because Aryze is very compliant.
Thank you so much for bringing it up. And it's all about, we can't promote anything.
Yeah.
And so it's as simple as that. But people can always reach out and we can talk about it. But yes, so that's, the term funding is no secret. We are actively, looking to close our first funding round, and it's going really well. So, Aryze, we're really going places, and so many amazing things to come. It's very exciting times.
Let's talk about that. We talked a little bit about Aryze. We talked about what you've been doing recently and right now in Malta, and with all your travels everywhere else in the world. You're very active in the global scene, I know that. But let's talk about what's the next big thing for Aryze, what's coming up around the corner, and what are you looking forward to?
Yes. November, very hectic, a lot of speeches. What's really exciting, and I'm going to try to do it short, what's really exciting is that now our Thomas Lisbeck, our blockchain architect, doing amazing work. We're actually seeing progress on the way our entire platform is built, the way we handle the coins and all the internal stuff. And also we have we have a brand manager, Michael Hendrickson, doing amazing work. We've onboarded 2 guys, David and Tobias from Caxi, and what they're doing, they're working so fast and they're doing incredible work. So we're beginning to have kind of the dummies for our app, our application, our payment dashboard. It's beginning to come alive. So it's really amazing to see that what you've talked about for so long, critics have said, oh, you're nothing but a PowerPoint presentation. But now actually, we start seeing the outline of how we're going to build it.
Mm-hmm.
And we already now we have a very, very clear graphic idea of, okay, this is how our app is going to look like, and this is how our welcome board, when you log into your management system, how it will look for businesses. Our business dashboard. So it's amazing. It's like seeing your kid growing up.
And that's good. And as we all know, I just had a small kid, and you also have I think we have actually a small kid at the same age. The first months are a bit hard, and then it becomes a bit more beautiful after that.
Yeah, I agree. My daughter is 4 months and a half, so a big shout out to my wife for allowing me to go to Malta for 3 or 4 days. But luckily she's quite easy. So that's really nice.
Yeah, that's good. And I have a son also. He's also just just after 4 months, and it can be a bit difficult sometimes managing time and all this stuff, and you have to travel and the wife. But my wife is also doing a really good job, I think. But that was what we're looking at now. The next developments you can see when you're in the office working with the guys. You're starting to have the user interface in line from the app and from the web platform and so on. And you have started to work at the actual blockchain structure or the platform structure with the blockchain architect. That's very
Yes.
interesting.
And also,
Yeah,
what's coming next for Aryze
yeah.
is our technical white paper.
Nope.
So all the guys that has been, coming up like, that's good, where's the tech?
Yeah,
Where's the tech?
yeah,
Where's the tech?
yeah.
We heard you. It's not that we like we not you just need to build it properly. So it's not that we won't give it. It's just like we need to structure this the right way. And right now we are focused on our technical white paper. And when we go into the next round of funding, we will have a minimal viable product and we will have a technical white paper.
Yeah.
So as we move forward, we will it's not we will disclose information when we have it, but you got to do it in the right way, in the right tempo, and build it up. And look at us. We won Best Startup at Copenhagen FinTech Week. We won Best FinTech at Venture Cup. We've been awarded the Inno Booster Grant 215,000 kroner or something. Like, people are noticing what we're doing. We're building it up slowly, and pretty soon, when, join us on our Telegram community, we will disclose all the information. People can always, like, if you go and look at our Telegram community, we're partnered up with Amazix, so there's always people in the chat that can help us. Me, myself, Jack Ngoshan, our CEO, Carl Jenster, Jody Usama, all of our guys, we're always in Telegram. You can always reach us. And if you have a question, bring it. And if you have a really tough question, just bring it. We'll get our CEO to answer you. Our CFO, if you mail us with a question, info@aryze.io, mail us. I'll get our CFO, our CEO. You will get an answer to all your questions.
So
it's as simple as that.
That sounds good. Aryze are online on their platforms and they're open for questions, discussions. And I think Aryze is a very interesting project, and I think you should go check it out. And if you have some questions, you want to look more into it, go to the Telegram, ask in the group. I'm there, and I know the people from Aryze are very active in there, actually answering people's questions. And Rasmus, just to finish off here, where should people go to learn more about Aryze?
They should go to, I would say, now, your viewers, crypto guys, you're on Telegram. Join us on Telegram.
Yeah.
Come there. And ask all the questions.
And your homepage is?
Aryze.io.
Aryze.io, and that's ARYZE.io. And
just to make it a little bit tricky, yes.
Yeah. And from there, they can get to the link to the Telegram and all this stuff, of course. That's really good. Okay, Rasmus, we're just above 30 minutes now, so I think we should slowly call it an end here because I don't want to make it too long. But thank you for taking the time, and I hope you continue to have a good session down in Malta, networking and so on.
It's the final party tonight, so we'll see what kind of trouble we get into. But I just want to thank you, Flashy.
Yeah.
Thanks for the work you're doing on Twitter and always talking to new projects. Really appreciate it. You and good work. We are always here. Even if we should succeed and become an even larger company, we always have time for you, my friend.
That sounds good. Thank you so much, Rasmus. And with that, I'll just say goodbye here from these casual Friday talks about Aryze and the recent developments. Go check it out at aryze.io. And to you, Rasmus, I will just see you when you get back to Denmark, Copenhagen, I guess.
Yes, we'll have another crypto community night soon.
That sounds good. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a good one out there. This is Flashy Gordy and Rasmus Brun from Aryze.